So like I said, this first question, you got to break it into pieces. What I like to do is either circle things in red or green. So in the short run, expansionary monetary policy. So anytime you see expansion, think, what do we want aggregate demand to do? We want it to go up. We need to make GDP, don't we? Okay. We need to get ourselves out of a recession. So expansionary monetary policy would most likely result in which of the following changes in the price level and real GDP. So we know we're doing expansionary. So in your head already, monetary policy, what do you want to do with GDP? You want it to go up, don't you? So if you have something green with you, I would think, okay, if GDP is going up, that is expansionary. I want to think increase, I want to think increase. Okay, this is supposed to be a highlighter. All right, there we go. So now I can get rid of these right here. Okay, and I'm just not sure about no change. So at least I'm down to these two. So my expansionary policies are open market operations. So I want to sell bonds and make small bucks, or buy bonds and make big bucks. So if there's more money available, it's going to make the price of money go down, isn't it? So interest rates will drop. When interest rates drop, gross private investment will go up, and then I go back to my AD equals sig x. So if the I is going to increase, then aggregate demand is going to increase. So I know if those things happen, here's the I of sig x. That's a really so if aggregate demand is going to go up, then what is going to happen to GDP and price level? So I know that price level, whenever producers will start to compete for resources, they cause things to get scarce, don't they? And that causes inflation. So the best answer is going to be E, because it'll have our price level increase. All right. So buy bonds makes big bucks. That's expansionary policy. Sell bonds makes small bucks. That's contractionary monetary policy. All right. Now number 24. A reduction in inflation can be best achieved by which of the following combinations of fiscal and monetary. So now a reduction in inflation. We have to slow the economy down, don't we? We need something contractionary. Got to think red right here. Okay. So I know I'm thinking red. Go with which one's easier to do? Monetary or fiscal policy? Fiscal, because it's just two things, isn't it? Drop government spending or raise taxes. So I'll make my little notes over here. Okay, my fiscal is T and G. My monetary is I got to do something with this interest rate. Got to attack the interest rate on monetary policy. Now, always go with what you know. Go with what you're strong with. Okay, cover up the monetary policy. Now I'm thinking, what are my contractionary fiscal policies? Well, it's not this one, it's not this one, it's not this one, so now I'm down to A and D real quickly, aren't I? Okay, so now, which one's my contractionary monetary out of A or D? Lower discount rate spending or sell government bonds? Sell bonds makes small bucks, doesn't it? And that makes interest go up. So I want something to make interest go up. It's going to reduce gross private investment. So I sell bonds, and the answer is A. Any questions? Make sense? Okay, awesome. So now we've had two monetary policies out of the first two questions. Okay. All right, now for 25. You guys haven't had foreign exchange yet, so here's a little quick version. Which of the following is likely to occur following a depreciation of the U.S. dollar? So in my head, I'm thinking the dollar went down in value. Okay, the depreciation of the dollar has to be compared to another currency. It doesn't just, you just don't have money and it go, oh, well, this is worthless now, or worth less, punctuation. That doesn't happen. It has to have something make it do that. So as soon as the dollar goes down in value, what happens if someone comes here with pesos? Do they get more dollars or fewer dollars? They get more dollars, don't they? So what does that do to our goods and services? Are they cheaper or more expensive? They're cheaper, aren't they? So when the dollar goes down, our goods and services become cheaper. And when our stuff is cheaper, people will buy it, won't they? So our exports will increase. This happens because the dollar, depreciated. Okay? Demand for the dollar will decrease. That made it depreciate, so it's not C. Okay? It's not our imports increasing because obviously our money is worth less and we can't buy other people's stuff. Because when we take our dollars to Mexico, do we get more pesos or less? We get less. So then we can't buy their stuff. Our imports won't change. Okay? So foreign exchange isn't a terribly complicated thing. We just got to take our acronym of TRIPS, find out why people want money, and then once they want money or don't want it, then it makes it go up or down in value. All right? So 25 is B. All right, and 26, we've done this, it's been a while. We have cars, computers, country A and country B. Did y'all work through it, or did you just have the answer memorized? Some of you had it memorized. That's okay. You've seen it before. But do you know how to do it if you need to? So when the question appears with different numbers or whatever, remember we're looking for comparative advantage. So when it comes to producing computers and cars, that's always the key. Equal amounts of resources that are fully efficient and employed. So they're on the curve for production possibilities, aren't they? They're efficient. So set up our two columns if you have to. What does one computer and one car cost? Country A, a half and 2. And then for country B, one computer is a third of a car and 3. So I'm trying to find out, well, who is absolute or comparative advantage in making computers? Country B. Okay. So we're trying to find one thing that is true. And if you work through them, okay, country B has absolute and comparative advantage in the production of computers. Well, they make more computers, that's their absolute, then they have comparative. So as soon as you find something like this and you know those things are true, this is a case where you don't have to read through the other answers. There's not a better answer. Okay? Some things that are kind of vague, that's where they do the deal where there's one correct answer and there's one that's better. Okay? So the one that's the best answer, sorry, I wanted to say be bestest, but I'm not going to. Whenever you know it's true, you're good, okay? In this class, whenever they do the thing where there's two questions that look very similar or very correct, it's the one that causes the issue, okay? What I mean by that would be, say, they could have this answer and then have another one that said, what happened to the value of goods and services? It would be a little further, or what actually is going on, you know what I mean? So if you get stuck, just think which one caused it or which one has, a piece of the acronym or whatever. All right, 27. Which of the following individuals is considered officially unemployed? Okay, Pat, who recently left a job to look for a different job. That's frictional. So remember your 4 types: frictional, seasonal, structural, and cyclical. Okay, so to be unemployed, you have to want a job, don't you? Okay, if he has not worked for more than 3 years, that's a discouraged worker. Okay, they're not in the labor force anymore if they're not trying, so they're not unemployed. If you don't want a job, you're not unemployed. Such a crazy concept. You're not in the labor force. So Kim, who's a full-time student, wait until graduation, not in labor force. Okay, Leslie, retired after turning 65, not in labor force. They're not unemployed. You have to want a job. Okay. So, any questions about any of them? Pretty good now? Okay.